This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
His fire.
He ain't have it yet.
His passion, bro.
He ain't have it yet.
Yeah, he could have grew it somehow.
He didn't have it yet,
He
bro.
could have just made it happen somehow.
Yo, that would have been cap. That would have been like, yo, what are we talking about?
Yo, it's One Piece. Stuff like that happens.
I suppose, man.
What's going on, everybody? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. My name is Larry, as I just said. And this is That One Piece Talk, where we talk One Piece. Welcome to episode 86 of today's episode. It is One Piece break week, which means that there is no One Piece chapter to review or discuss. But instead, we are going to have one of our many call-only episodes. I think that's always best. We get to talk with the whole chat. We get to talk to people directly. We know that sometimes during these chapter reviews, we can't make it to calls. So
you see how they're looking at me? You see how they're looking at me?
But today is going to be a call-only episode. So thank you for joining. Thank you. I did finally receive that Sogi King cosplay that's been literally just causing me a nightmare. The whole issue with the Sogi King thing has caused me a nightmare. I almost had to pay double because the costume just wouldn't. I couldn't find it. I couldn't track it. It was nowhere to be found. And I ordered it after we got the super chat amount for it. And then I ordered the mask. The mask broke. I had to fix the mask somehow. It was just a huge mess over and over and over, bro. So I finally got the cosplay, the attire, not the mask. I've had the mask for a while. So I'm going to wear that next episode, just so everybody's aware. We're not going to do a surprise cosplay. Other than that, man, we have Davies Dark Tournament on Wednesday at 6:30. And then me and Chestnut will be reviewing Chapter 1074 if it comes out on Thursday around 4 p.m. So that's the lineup for everything happening for the week. But other than that, how are you guys?
I'm good, man. I had to go to Pittsburgh for work. It was crazy cold, and there ain't jack to do in Pittsburgh, bro. But it was a good time. I ate some decent food, and it was cool. It was a nice little work week.
Did you do any push-ups?
I didn't do any push-ups.
I didn't do any push-ups. Gotta do push-ups, man.
Hey, man, you seen the glow up? You see it? Lawrence, I got a picture to show you, bro. I've been.
Oh yeah. You get your trials wave?
Nah, Charles went OD. Charles, Lawrence.
Charles doing it right.
I was just telling Larry, he's at like Ŝaboty with it now, bro.
Oh word?
Like Kizaru just pulled up.
𝙬𝐵𝐵𝐵.
So, I never know how to say it.
𝙬𝐵𝐵𝐵.
𝙬𝐵𝐵𝐵.
Alright.
But yeah, man, it was a good week.
That's what's up, man.
Went to 𝐿𝐸 house in New York yesterday. Got a little faded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good food.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Law? How's everything?
I'm just running around. Someone hit my car, rear-ended my car. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get that fixed in the car parts, and I ordered new tires for that.
What, did it dent your car?
Well, so it hit the bumper, so the whole bumper needs to be replaced.
Is it dented?
You gonna tell him the hot water thing?
Nah. I was gonna just be like, yo, you just use Rio, bro. take the dent out that way, bro.
Terrible.
Well, it's more like it's cracked.
Oh, it's cracked.
Yeah, to the point where like I'm having a trouble time. I can't even close my. I probably shouldn't say this on.
Yeah, don't say
it. Yeah, but anyway.
Just in case.
Yeah. You know.
Just in case FBI is like watching your every move.
What would I have in my truck?
Yeah, it's just wild that happened when like your brother was driving your car. Yo, it's wild it's wild that happened.
No. Do we finish tell you what's even more wild about that? Shut up. One.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Because Lawrence crashed my car.
I didn't crash your car. That's not true. I didn't crash your car.
Bro, my car was perfectly fine. Then I let you use it. And then it wasn't perfect.
One, first of all, I was borrowing your car, and then some cop was coming behind me, and I'm thinking I couldn't tell if he was trying to pull me over or
Wait,
get
it
me
was
off.
a cop that hit you?
No. So like, there was this truck that had something hanging out from the truck, right? And when the cop came behind me and there was heavy traffic, he was trying to rush me to the side.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell if he was trying to get past me or pull me over. So when I tried to pull over, something that was sticking out from the truck scratched Sebastian's car. Because I was trying to get over really quickly because of that. Yeah. But anyway, the funny thing is with my car situation, so Lionel was driving my car and someone rear-ended Lionel. Did we tell you what the driver's name was?
Lionel?
Yeah,
His name was Lionel. So some dude named Lionel rear-ended Lionel while he was driving my car. So both Lionels got into an accident where both of them weren't the owner of the car.
They should have fought.
I think they should have fought.
They should have fought.
Yeah. And then you take the other car.
We fight for pinks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But you gotta like drive the car to my house and drop it off and then walk.
It's wild that like they never got to that point in Fast and the Furious where
Yeah.
they're fighting over pink slips. They just went to outer space and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a simpler way to move to progress the storyline, and they went, "Nah, we're gonna go this way." But
All right, cool guys. Let's see what's up with the chat. Let's say hi to everybody.
yeah, man, we got a lot of people chilling in chat right now. KJ, Chance Rainey, I Hate Mo, Mike Super, Peanut Butter. Yo, bro. You guys ever seen that video?
No.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's funny.
I've only seen the baby with all the peanut butter on it, and it goes, hey. You know what I'm talking about? No.
Blazer, Muppets, DK Rayleigh, Hazy Sake, Red Hair Shanktum, Brandon Wigfall. He said, "What's hood?" Wigfall, what's up with you, bro? Shows
This is a certified hood classic.
Oh man. Oh, we got a 6-month membership to Nakama from KJ. It says proud member. Let's effing go.
Thank you for half the year membership, bro.
Appreciate that.
KJ, love, bro.
NP, Quavo's in the chat. Winston Quatero's in the chat. Jordan Rothke's in the chat. Hime in the chat. What up, Hime? Samurai Barsky. There's so many y'all in here, man. If y'all haven't already, please like the stream. Lord Vegeta, God D Usopp, Illusion. What's up, Illusion? AceDAces, Akuma, Dravian. Draven?
You do this every episode, I think.
Oh, it's Draven. My fault. He edited
Stop
it to change so I could know. That's terrible, man. But yeah, man. Party Pete in here.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? How are you? Thank you for the likes on the video. Appreciate it. If you haven't already heard, we are doing a calls-only episode today. So you can call up and ask us some questions because I was too lazy to make questions. So deal with it.
It's okay, man. It's break week.
Yeah, it is break week. I'm taking a break.
Take a break. You
Yeah,
deserve it, bro.
I do deserve it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I'm glad you care about me, bro.
Oh, yeah, we got 10 gifted memberships from Lord Vegeta, a.k.a. Ragnar. Thank you so much,
Ragnar,
man.
bro. I'm going to fight you, bro.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Ragnar,
Appreciate
for the 10
that.
gifted memberships.
Word.
Expect Luffy to keep asking Usopp to join the ship. Like 10 times. We gotta fix that. I gotta fix that. That way, like, it could just be like 10 memberships given to somebody, and then it doesn't do each
Yo,
person.
that's what that sound is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I had no idea. That's terrible.
Are you serious?
I had no idea. I knew it was
You
something.
watched the chat in the video.
No, I know. I'm saying I didn't know that's what I was. Mark, I didn't know. I'm saying I didn't know that that's what was being played.
Yeah.
Like, I just heard Luffy's voice talking.
You know what,
Alright,
man?
cool.
More power to you, bro. I'm glad you now know.
I'm glad I now know
Yeah,
too, bro.
bro.
But thank you so much, Ragnar. That was
Yeah,
super
thank
dope.
you,
bro.
Ragnar. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Much love.
All right. Anyway, Marv, let's put up the number and let's talk to people. And then let's just keep it going.
Yeah, man, it's break week. We're going to hear some wild stuff. I can feel it.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a lot
Break
of
week is
clone
wild
talk
take
still.
week. Break
It
week
is
is wild take week.
Is it wild take week?
Yeah,
Break
bro.
week is usually wild take week.
Nah.
People have had like a full extra like 7 days to just concoct ridiculous theories or see ridiculous
Yo,
theories.
Terrence gonna call. You know Terrence Matthews, the one I called up.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna call up and be like, "Yo, I think Zoro sucks." And I'll be like, "All right, what's the question though?" He's like, "Nah, I was just calling to say that."
Oh man.
And I just seen a fan art of I know this is gonna get very heated. A fan art Dorsey just sunning Gear 5th Luffy.
Yeah, I see that too.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lyra from that One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
What's up, Larry? What's up, Larry?
Hey, Ragnar.
Hey,
Thank
what
you,
up, what
bro.
up?
Thank you
so
for the
much.
10 gifted subs, you
Appreciate
monster.
that. Thank you.
Oh
Bro, I
my
just
god.
got home.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good. All right. It's break week, and I'm not gonna lie, thank Oda for the break week because I needed it.
You needed it.
Listen to me, bro. I had Lucci in my top 30 in the beginning of this year. My heart, bro. My heart.
You wanna take your
So-
10 gifted sub back? You can take it back, bro.
Oh man.
No. Hear me out. Have you guys heard of the idea that Zoro might be from the future?
He might be from where?
From the future.
Oh, see?
Wait,
see, bro?
Zoro might be from the future?
Yeah.
No, I never heard
I
that.
haven't heard that either.
Same. Where they getting this
Do
from?
you want to?
Alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to
Explain.
elaborate on that one, Ragnar.
All right. The idea is Toki never died, and she went to the future, had Zoro, and sent him back to the past.
Can she
But the whole point was she can't
go to the
go
past?
back to the past, right?
Yeah.
You
Did
think
she
it was-
awaken?
She was just capping? Or you
Oh,
think
yeah.
her
Was she
awakening
awakened?
would allow her to do it?
I think so. Why not?
I mean, either way, like, I don't see how this works. Her whole thing was, I'm trying to get to a certain point in time. If she's awakened and she can go either direction,
Yeah.
I don't know how we get to the point where it's like, all right, I'm gonna get Zoro, and like I'm gonna send him to some island that isn't in Wano, and hope that one day somehow, some way, he just makes it back there, and doesn't even take Kaido
Just
out.
let him finish his thought,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm just my fault. My fault.
Keep going, Ragnar.
Yeah, what's up? I see part in chat. Anyway, so the idea is Toki goes to the future because she thought that's when the hero would come, whatever, and save. But she goes too far in the future. So none of her current family, none of them are existed, and then she sends her child back to the past, so he has a chance of meeting the family. But he gets sent to like around the timeline where they're already fully grown, to the 20-year time period, like 20 years before she sent. It's got weird. Like 20 years before Momo was sent forward, and then in the future, as in the current timeline we're in, they're gonna go back in the past again, and that's how you have the guy that looks like Zoro in Wano. And he explains why Zoro is always lost. He's not lost in space, he's lost in time.
So he's already the age he is Zoro was what, 20 when he met Luffy, or 19? He was 19.
19.
Right?
Around that.
So he was 19 when he got transported already. This is what you're saying.
No,
Like
no. He was like a kid.
Right, I'm not gonna lie, I hate this theory so much. I
No, you don't like it. It's not my theory.
I hate it.
It's,
But you brought it to
okay,
me, bro.
it's based on the theory that was fake spoilers for the I've seen the One Piece and I read Oda's backlog and it was posted all over the internet back in the day. And it was revealed as fake.
okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I hate time travel so much as a plot device.
Remember, it's already introduced, Seth. It's already
Yo,
introduced.
but the
You gotta
way
put
they
into
did
context.
it worked. You get what I'm saying? Where it's like you
Okay,
can only go to forward in time, and it wasn't this broken where people are like interacting with their older selves or younger selves or impacting things that are gonna happen in the future or that have already happened in the past. Like they didn't do all that. What you're presenting would be that, and it would be. I would think it's trash. I don't know about y'all. I hate time travel.
I'm on the side that Zoro is his great grandfather.
Zoro is whose great grandfather?
So you're quoting Futurama.
Zoro is his
right
own
now.
great
Yo,
grandfather.
I am. I'm out. Y'all can speak on this if y'all want,
Hold
but
on,
I'm
I'm
out.
just trying to grasp what's happening.
I'm out, bro.
So basically, Zoro is from what period of time? You think that Toki, during her time, before she time traveled to Odin's time, that's where Zoro's from.
Zoro, yes.
So
He went there. Even the thing is, okay, that would be what happens in the future. It hasn't happened now. When Zoro goes back in the past, he's gonna have more familiarity with the past than he does with the present. That's what I think.
Hold on. Hold on right now. Well, I gotta get the timeline down. So you're saying that Toki, 800 years ago, birthed Zoro, right? Like that's his mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zoro is what, 8 years old, I'm guessing?
Kid, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Baby.
So then she time travels both of them to Odin's era. She loses Zoro. Zoro somehow is living in the One Piece verse, like in Wano or on another island?
He's living in the One Piece verse. I wouldn't know where he's from.
Okay. All right then. And then basically he grows up during those, I guess 12 years or so, or 11 years, and he's like, the timeline's weird for me, bro. Because then by then he would be like 31, right? Now?
But the reason why Zoro is racist, by the way, for answering part of that, the reason why Zoro is racist is because back in the past there was only one, like there was like a few races, like 5. So he's only used to those. Everything else is new to him. He's like, what are you? Like that's why.
Wait, but I'm sorry. See, this is where I'm confused because you're just saying he's from the past, but you just say he's from the future. The whole theory is Zoro's from the future.
No, I was saying he was born in the future, but he was sent to the past.
He was born in the future. So then that means he wasn't born 800 years ago with Toki.
Yeah, that's what Larry said. That
No, that's not what I was saying. Larry was saying that, so I was saying, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
No, I was asking you.
I
was asking to clarify.
the parameters of what the
what the timeline was.
Okay, so you're saying Zoro was
what I was saying
from the future. Is it Hiyori? No, it's Toki sent him to the past, which was to present time, to meet one of the ancestors or whatever. To be.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm saying the Zoro this Zoro that we see now in the future of the current story, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna go back to the past, right? And he's gonna be his ancestor. That's so weird, but it's true.
So wait, hold on. So you're saying that if he was in the future, then his past self actually never became the greatest swordsman that beat Mihawk?
No, his past self. Okay, it's weird. Ryuma would be Zoro's like son or grandson or something.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is,
wait, what?
This is what I'm saying.
I'm confused
hold
now.
on. You're saying that there's 2 different Zoros there's 3 different Zoros in 3 different time periods. You're saying there's one where he's the son of Ryuma, which would probably be what? Ryuma was...
No. He's the father.
Of Ryuma?
All right.
Yeah, or grandfather.
Ryuma,
either.
Ryuma's living through like during 800-year void times, like where Joy Boy was alive. Okay, so Zoro gets sent to the future, which is past the current timeline in One Piece. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there is a Zoro currently right now, right? So he would have had to had Ryuma at like 19 the latest, let's just say. Even so, it would have been like Zoro during this time period would have eventually become the Pirate King. So if he traveled from the past to the future, then he would have knew that there was a Pirate King, not a Pirate King, the greatest swordsman in the world would have been him. But since he doesn't know that currently right now, then that would mean he never therefore became the greatest swordsman. Right?
Well,
what are we
you're looking at it wrong.
What are we even
because
gaining
the Zoro that goes back in the past hasn't happened yet.
I see.
No, but by timeline standards, just because he did go to the past, that means there is a future where he does exist to some degree, like through legend or
that's
folklore.
what I was saying.
But
that's all ancient history that is lost.
But I'm debunking that because then he would have knew already that he would have became the world's greatest swordsman. But since he doesn't know
How do you know? They're 2 different Zoros. It's a Zoro that hasn't happened yet. Technically, the Zoro here in this timeline hasn't experienced it.
But again, so you got to look at like a timeline as like a circle, right?
CD
so
is
like
challenging your throne, by the way, Ragnar.
So This is what I'm saying. So no matter what, if there's a past Zoro that's going to eventually live into that future that you're talking about, or at least live during that time, he's going to know already that there was a past Zoro that became the world's strongest swordsman. That's how like timelines work, bro. I hate this because it's too complicated.
It's so much.
To me, where it doesn't make sense too, because like Zoro, right? We see him grow up as a kid. So you're saying that future where hasn't happened yet. So then how is he his grandfather? Because that's the future that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
And,
so that
and
could
that
change.
means that everybody else from the village that Zoro lived in, which was Kuina's like dad's dojo, they also transported to the future.
Bro, unless Zoro was clapping cheeks at like 5, like what are we talking about, Ragnar?
But he,
Okay. Baby Zoro was born in the future.
okay.
He was sent to the current timeline whenever that was. As a kid, when the dojo, he was sent back around that time or before that time, I don't know. But he was born in the future. In the current story of One Piece, the same timeline we're in, there's going to be a point where they all go back to the past and Zoro starts the whole thing, right? He's going to be the founder of, like, the sword style thing. All of it. I don't know. Nobody will do the mouth thing like him, but they will try to do the two sword style.
So you're basically saying that all the Straw Hats are going to eventually go into the 800-year void.
Yes.
Yo, you didn't say any of this.
Why would I say? I'm just talking about Zoro. I don't care about her straw.
Bro, this is a trash theory.
No, I'm sorry. What doesn't make sense to me is the fact that, right, he's trying to say that anyway that Zoro started the line of Ryuma. But that hasn't happened yet because that's the future time where they're going to go back to the past. So if Zoro started that line of Ryuma, how's Ryuma already existing until Zoro? Because if he hasn't done it yet,
Because it happened in the past.
No, but you're saying it has to get to the future for him to travel into the past.
The point is, why would Toki do any of this?
Yo, right? Yo, listen. Bro,
And also,
Why would think
Oda
about
do
it?
this?
Why would Toki come 800 years in the future, abandon her mission, quote unquote, and start a family?
No.
She did it once.
Yo,
Why not do it again?
Odin had unlimited riz, bro.
she was going into the future for a purpose, for a reason, right? And yes, she was supposed to continue, but then yes, she fell in love with Odin, right? Where Odin
So
said,
she abandoned her purpose and started a family.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time. We have proof of her doing it already.
So what? So doesn't mean that she did it again. So you think there's another Odin out there that she fell in love with had Zoro? That's what you would have to say. And then I'm gonna leave
that's
this
what I'm
one.
saying. I think there was another person Toki eventually met, and she fell in love.
Yeah, but the thing is, you do realize the time where she landed with Odin wasn't the time anyway she wanted. She was supposed to go into the future. So that future time that she had Zoro in, that was supposed to be the time she was supposed to be in. Why would she leave that time?
Yes.
But that's her goal already. What would make her
That's
go?
what I'm saying.
But what would make her go back? If she's in the time
No,
she's
she
supposed to
doesn't
be.
go back.
No, but she did go back. In this storyline right now, she did go back. That's what I'm trying to say. If she's in that time already, and she hasn't met Odin, why would she leave that if she's already there? Because before she hasn't gotten there yet. And she goes, you know what? I'm just going to stay here. But if she's in that time already that she's supposed to be, what would make her come back if she's never met Odin? You get what I'm saying?
Toki, I get what you're saying, but Toki stayed. She just sent Zoro back.
But then how did she meet Odin?
No, she did meet Odin because it's the same Toki. Toki is the only consistent thing among all the timelines.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't think you've seen the plot hole.
I have nothing for this, bro. I'm gonna be real, Ragnar. I love you to death, bro.
Bro,
But
yeah, nah.
I don't think I've ever heard a theory that I hate more. Ever.
Oh, sorry.
Ever.
All right. It was fun. Let me not take it from everybody's time. I'm gonna come back.
Shit, I'm sorry, bro.
Ragnar, thank you, bro.
Oh,
Thank you for confusing us.
Love you, Ragnar. Oh man.
Shout out to CD.
Yeah, bro. We got like 25 gifted memberships from CD. Yo, give it up. W for CD in the chat, yo.
Yeah,
Thank
W
you so
for
much.
Ragnar and CD.
Yeah, man.
Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you, CD,
Seriously.
immensely.
Thank you, Ragnar. Thank you, CD.
Everybody, please enjoy all the new emojis and emotes and things that you get with the membership. That CD and Ragnar were able to give out today. That's super awesome, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a couple super chats sitting as well. We got.
We'll do it in a second.
Yeah, we'll do it in a second.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from that One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Hey, this is AceDAces, and I'm doing pretty well.
Hey, what's up,
I
man?
feel like it's been a while, man. What's
It
going
has
on?
been a while.
How you
What's up,
doing?
man?
Yeah, I when I first started watching the stream, I was on I got hurt, so I was watching it, and then I went to work, and I always work Mondays, so I'd miss it there here and there. But anyways,
Glad you're feeling
so
better.
Yeah, man.
yeah, but so like I've been listening, catching up with on the podcast. But last week, you were saying like how the hero could like catch up and like awaken their devil fruits.
Mhm.
So I kind of have like a theory or a thought about it. So when pole vaulting, how they always jump and then go backwards for it.
Yeah.
Like someone had to make that first going backwards, because before they always did stomach first. Then once that one person did it backwards, everybody started doing it and the sport advanced from that. So with that logic, CP0 is supposed to be the super like fighting like unit. They're assassins. And Lucci already awakened his devil fruit so he could give tips to the graph dude. So make it easier.
So like they paved the way to have easier access for people who follow their footsteps in doing so.
Yeah, kind of like how a sport advances and people just follow that one thing and they can't have a foundation to build on. They're not starting from ground zero.
Yeah.
Like Momo, he knows everything that Kaido's fruit can do, so he's just mimicking his fruit. He didn't get it and had no idea what to do with it. He knew what to do with it.
Is that true? I feel like Yamato had to explain some things to him, like grabbing the clouds. Like he was just kind of freaking out and doing it.
That still fits the logic he's presenting.
Yeah,
it's
it
just
is.
like if you know it exists, then you should be able to somehow try to do it yourself.
Yeah, like
It's like
Steph Curry,
like
and
Luffy,
three-point
like
shooting.
he was told the wrong devil fruit, so he was using it wrong the whole time. And then when he like got, he like awakened as the sun god.
So I can feel you on the thought process, or even Lucci sharing like how he awakened to Kaku, and that's not a ridiculous thing. I think my biggest issue with the awakening was always just how I viewed awakenings in the narrative, and what they were supposed to be used for as like this like last resort thing that the elites use, and it rubbed me the wrong way, left this bad taste in my mouth to see like a Kaku using it when I just had an arc where like all these other people who were probably stronger than Kaku and probably had their devil fruits for longer didn't do it. Now that's a me thing. That's just my personal preference or my personal vendetta against it. We've argued other different angles of this thing, but as far as Kaku awakening, it's not too crazy a thing, but it's just I just didn't like it, And this is probably why me and Larry were spazzing on it so much. But I just don't think we gain enough as a reader, as a community, from that. You know what I mean? But that's me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he should have awakened, but just a thought process on like how he. And then another thought, Yamato, when she was in her like wolf form, she had the mist going around her. Do you think she's awakened? Because every awaken we saw so far, besides like Doflamingo and the gorilla or the giraffe, they've all had that mist going around them.
That's still up for debate. So like I love the logic of like being able to see one person do something and it being easier for the second person to achieve it because they basically pave the way to do so. But like especially for the Marines, because the Marines are technically an organization that produces soldiers, and they have like training modules, I'm pretty sure, and they teach you like the 6 powers, for example, too. So it just means that like on average they're gonna have stronger fighters, than like some pirates who just do whatever they feel, whatever they want, and they don't encounter much adversity unless they run into somebody else on the seas. Where like they're like, yo, this is a training room. Like you guys can just fight and figure things out, but this is how generally things are done. Which is why I think we should get more insight into how the Marines work and at least contribute like a small couple of chapters of just being in the works of how the Marines work instead of seeing them like washing the floors as, you know, cadets or like rookies. It would be very interesting. And I think that if anybody can obtain something difficult like awakenings faster would be the Marines over pirates, in my general opinion. But when it comes to like how Sebastian said, the way it was set up, it seemed like the awakening part was more so the I've achieved this because I'm at a certain level in the series where it means that I can take my I can surmount harder adversities because I've gotten to this level where like I could face like a Kaido or I could face like a Shanks. Like this would make up for probably the lack of haki that I don't have that they do. And when we were introduced to Kaido, you know, Kaido was such a blessing, but he was also sort of like a curse because Kaido was the epitome of strength. He was the epitome of everything Luffy hopes to obtain, and then he has to go even further. Even now, there's points in the series where like I don't think there's a lot of people that can actually beat Kaido. So for him not to have an awakening or for it to be confirmed, it's really difficult for me to digest that somebody like Kaku, who doesn't have the potential or the talent or the haki or the devil fruit duration of him just, you know, having the devil fruit, none of it's there. Where we know that Kaido had everything. He was a monster from birth. He had the talent. He has the haki. He knows how it works. He even said how it works. And you know, at the end of the day, he's had the fruit for like 20 years or so since God Valley happened, and we didn't see it. We can only hope that, you know, his last form of his dragon form was that. So the setup for Kaido not having it, but then somebody like Kaku having it is really difficult to digest because it means that not only it turns awakenings from this top tier skill to a common skill where anybody in the show can have it, where anybody could just achieve this if their mind just happens to catch up to their body and their devil fruit. And it's kind of tough for me to digest that.
And it's like coming off an arc where like 3 of our main characters in that arc awakened to overcome like Luffy awakened to overcome Kaido.
Yeah.
Kid-in-law awakened to overcome Big Mom. Like that just happened 20 plus chapters ago. And then it's like, oh no, it's just something that happens in a fight now.
Yeah.
You know?
So again, it comes down to like expectations from like Oda. So like Oda made the Yonko somewhat unbeatable. He made them look like true monsters. And then we have somebody like Kid who hasn't really dealt with haki too well. He hasn't displayed it too well. He hasn't shown top tier haki. And then we have Law with the most broken ability in the game, but he awakened and then they were able to defeat somebody like Big Mom where they were able to like wring her out. So it shows that awakenings happen to be one of the most devastating things in the show, but it took somebody like Law and Kid together to do something to overcome a Yonko. So it's not really the awakening part that I think that me and Sebastian are upset about. It's the expectation of what awakening means to the show.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry that was a very long answer, but I felt like I need to be a little bit more detailed into why we felt that way. And then I don't really know if Yamato was awakened either. This is where like awakening gets tricky because we saw Caesar have the cloak as well, and we don't know if he was awakened. And he's a Logia, and we don't know if like devil fruits show the same similarities between all 3 classes of them having the cloak. So I don't know. That's gonna be my answer. I don't know if you had something to say, Law.
Yeah, I did. I agreed a lot what you were saying too, and it's the main thing with what we got with Kaido, where we expected or should have got Kaido's awakening with all that, and now you comparing it to with Kaku, it seems like we kind of lost something here. Like what happened? And to me, I kind of feel like the cloaking, from what my observation, I feel like that just tailored to Zoan's abilities. Like because all the like Luffy, we found out he's a Zoan. He had it. Rob Lucci, had it, and Kaku had it, and then I think even Yamato were alluding that she may have had her awakening, and they're all Zoans, where we saw with Dogtooth and Doflamingo, they're both Paramecias, but they didn't have it, but they are awakened, you know? So I'm thinking maybe that cloak is just for Zoans. I could be wrong. That's just a speculation or an observation on my point that I kind of noticed, right? And yeah, that's me. I was trying to, like you said, comparing it to, because like Kaku being awakened, because I was sort of too, for example, we always focus on the time aspect. Well, they were kids. Then I really started thinking about it. Well, of course they would need a lot of time because they're kids. A kid's mind is not going to catch up to their ability. They're kids. I think of like catching up their mind and body. I thought of later on. I thought of development, them developing as a person, a grown man. Because even too, like for a Zoan, but you kind of have to have a strong mind to take, or strong will to take the awakening of the Zoan, or you're going to lose out to it, and then you just become the beast. You're a kid. You're not going to awaken anything because you're not fully developed in any single way. So that's why I got caught up in the time-wise because all of them had it with kids, but of course it's going to take a lot of time because the kids are not fully developed in any way. But adults are more developed where you could catch up to it, but then that's what Larry brings out. It's like, all right, but what about Kaido? What about King? What about Queen? What about all the Beast Pirates? We didn't see one of them awakened. Not one. And they're legit called the Beast Pirates, and Kaido's legit targeting people with Zoan abilities or trying to get them to make, yeah, some of them are smiles, but at least we should have got the top three. Kaido, King, and Queen at the very least.
Even if it was just Kaido, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been cool with that.
Yeah. But so now we're stuck with where we get, and again, someone who Kaku, who just, we kind of expected, all right, he's kind of done out the game. We may not see him again, all right, we see him again, but now he's awakened, and we saw him when he first ate his ability, where it's like, Oda, what happened here? Like, we're just like, we're kind of like stuck with this situation where we have Kaku who, like I said, who showing a lot lesser than when Kaido and Kira robbed Lucy, but he awakened it. So now we're kind of confused, like, why did Oda give us that blatantly after Wano? Like, so it's like, how are we supposed to take that? How are we supposed to understand what awakens are? Especially too, is like, it shows more development, and the stronger you are, what we're getting with awakening, like we saw, right? The first person we seen with awakening the Luffy's opponent was Doflamingo, Shinji Bukai, one a high level opponent, and then again with Dogtooth. So now we see it with Kaku. It's just like, wait, what with that? Because we expected to get with all the Wano, with all of the Beast Pirates. So I can say that's why I tried making sense of it by explaining all these things. But also, at the very least, we should have got it with those ones. At the very least, Kaido, especially when he's the one that we always bring out. He explained it to us. That's why I had to go, and he had to be holding back his ability. Why? Is because I also think if he awakened, how does Luffy beat him?
But Lawrence, that even speaks to a bigger problem, where it's like, I said it when Wano was ending. Like, did we reach the climatic peak of the arc? Because if Kaido's holding back, like, you know what I mean? Like, in what fight has Luffy fought a dude where he held back? Like, there might be circumstances where Luffy had to overcome, or like he got help or whatever, but straight up holding back, like, I'm gonna reserve my best and not push you to the limit, not act like. That's not One Piece, bro. It's just not. Well, like, in what sense?
Kind of did it.
But
No, he didn't.
No, but do remember, this is what I mentioned this before. There's the one thing that kind of bothered me. One Piece, every opponent, I can't even think of really one except for like maybe Usopp. But every opponent Luffy faced, they're all underestimating Luffy. They look down on Luffy. They view him as a child, a joke. Like, even your ability is stupid. We got that with Doflamingo. It was like, what is this? And then they would even argue with Luffy saying, get serious. And Luffy would argue, I'm always serious. Because they always underestimate Luffy.
Lawrence, that's real, but there's never been like, yo, damn, if only Crocodile would have did this. Like, you know what I'm saying? We've never left a fight with that thought process, that perspective. If only this person would have used this ability, they would have just beat Luffy. Like, we've never gotten that. And Luffy was actively doing stuff to Kaido that, in my opinion, should have sparked him. Like, if there was a time, this dude just jump roped me. You know what I mean? He just grabbed lightning out of the sky. Like, if there was a time to start doing stuff to make sure that you don't lose a fight, that was it. And Kaido, for him to be like, nah, I'm gonna keep this in the tuck. I'm gonna take this punch though. Like, he not gonna knock me out with that.
Well,
like,
but that's
bro,
also
what?
But that also goes into Kaido's belief, where he fully believed the only possible person that could beat him was Joy Boy.
let's not get off track, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have this.
No.
You're gonna answer a second question.
Oh, the Yamato thing.
oh.
Yeah.
I answered it.
So
Oh, okay.
Kaido, I don't think he was awakened. I don't think he merged with his devil fruit enough because, I mean, just as his species, he was tougher and stronger. Then he got a Zoan, made him even more resistant to damage. So why would he become harmonized with his fruit? He's all about power and destruction and overwhelming his opponent. And base, he could do that. And then he got the dragon, and he can just do that further. So why would he meditate on his skills and become one? Yeah, he might know how to do it because of maybe Whitebeard or rocks or something in his past where he knew about it or he knew about Doflamingo, but he couldn't achieve it because he wasn't merged with the dragon. Because aren't dragons in Chinese mythologies protectors and not destroyers?
Depends on which dragon.
Yeah. So, and I even get that, but to me that's a cop out. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we as a community lean towards because we didn't get the awakening. If Kaido would have got the awakening, there would have been a single person who stood up and be like, nah, Kaido shouldn't have been awakened because his mind and body shouldn't have caught up because he's a destroyer and he's this thing and this dragon is this mythology. No one would have said that. Not a soul would have said that. We would have just accepted that he awakened and we'd have been like, bet, that's epic, that's awesome, this crazy the things that he could do. We as a community gravitated to that explanation because we didn't get something pronounced. We didn't get it highlighted to us.
Yeah.
And like I said, that to me it's a cop-out. You know what I mean? I know people think that, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but to me, if that's the case, then Oda should have spelled that out for us. That Kaido made it clear, I can't awaken because of this. That is something that we as a community gravitated to because we wanted answers, not something that Oda made clear and obvious to us. And that's on him. To me, that's on him.
But if he couldn't awaken, he wouldn't know, oh, I can't do it because of this, because it's a self-discovery. You don't know what you don't know.
So if anybody knew, it was him because he said directly how it worked.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can
But
honestly...
I could say a rocket goes up in the sky because it has rocket fuel and hydrogen and all these certain chemicals, but I don't know how to make a rocket.
Yeah, but you're not it would be different if you were a rocket scientist, right? Like if you knew how rockets worked and you were a rocket scientist, then it would be completely different because that's what Kaido is. Kaido is a Zoan who knows how Zoans work. So the only thing I want to say too, because I know that gets brought up a lot, and the only counter I could ever make in this type of perspective of looking at why he wasn't awakened, or to counter the idea of Zoan awakenings, is that the recent chapters of what Vegapunk has said was that every devil fruit goes to the person they want to eat it. And that's why most of the time each person matches their devil fruit personality wise. And we know that devil fruits have wills. So most of the time the devil fruit is going to put itself in a position where this person could take it to its highest level. Now it usually depends on the person if they're able to achieve that or not, right? So there's always a chance of this person awakening their fruit. They just don't gain their fruit and just go, okay, let me figure out how this works. Usually the devil fruits themselves, when you come into contact with them, give you sort of a knowledge of how they do work. And I think that was proven a couple times. It was why Kaku was able to go into a hybrid form, and Khalifa was able to do some of her moves from the get, or Ace, Sabo was able to do Fire Fist even before he knew how Fire Fist worked because he never saw Ace do it. He just did it to the Coliseum. We've seen it plenty of times that devil fruits do have sort of an advantage right after you eat them, which would tend to be okay, so that's how people awaken their devil fruits even further. But the case is when people say it about Kaido, Kaido does have the same advantage that everybody else does when they eat a devil fruit, but he also has the haki, he also has the experience, and he also has the talent, and then he also states the understanding of how it works. So it's a very hard pill to swallow when you have such a person displaying such knowledge to you as the reader, and it doesn't happen. But then we have this individual who has literally no experience, no talent. He has proven that he hasn't gotten through anything. But in comparison to Kaido's talent, sorry, he does have talent, but in comparison to Kaido's talent, it just doesn't seem to be there. And this is what I was saying about Lucci. And then Lucci's, the Lucci debate was, well, Lucci's a talented person. If anybody, he's built like a cheetah. Like the reason why he would be able to, awaken is because he is a cheetah in human form if he never ate the cheetah fruit. And it's like, okay, well, I say the same thing about Kaido. But Kaido has way more. So I think because the devil fruits have a will of their own and they go to the people they want specifically and they get eaten, that's the hard counter to that, where you're saying that Kaido just never got to that level of understanding or got to the mind and body matching his devil fruit. Like, why would the devil fruit pick him? Especially if he's at that tier within the One Piece verse.
So the only thing I could say would be him trying to like off himself. Like, first time we saw him, he fell down from the sky, trying to kill himself, kind of like giving up because no one was stronger than him. So maybe the devil fruit just was like, oh, like, you're not the person I want anymore, or like he just didn't meet that goal. Like, he did kind of like, he just wanted to like off himself. So
yeah, it could be. I mean, it's a personality trait that people like to use against Kaido in every scenario. But then when they say that, they also try to say that Kaido is a contradiction of himself. They always say like, well, he wanted to die, but like when he was close to it, he just never chose to die. He kept fighting. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, Kaido wasn't suicidal. Ultimately, he just wanted to die a grand death,
Right.
like his predecessors, like Roger and like Rocks. He wanted to have that euphoria like Whitebeard had at the Marineford War, which is why he wanted to go there by himself with King. So it's like, when you add that into Kaido's personality, that argument doesn't work at all either no more. Because even if we want to bring up his suicidal tendencies, it's like the dude still wanted to live a grand life.
Yeah, there's a difference between being suicidal and like being mentally and emotionally broken and wanting to go out in a grand fashion. Like, there's a difference to that. And I think what we saw of Kaido long term, he leaned more into that grand fashion, grand style of death than, oh man, I just don't want to live anymore kind of thing that we may have thought we got from him to start, And even then, he was like, when we first saw him, it was like, oh, Whitebeard did it right. And that was in reference to dying in a grand death. So even from the jump, there was the connotation that it was never him being suicidal in that way. And maybe I should stop saying that.
I think the better argument that nobody ever brings up, and I'm saying it in the chat, and I know that you said it too, Ace, was that maybe the devil fruit wanted an out. Or like maybe the devil fruit wanted to quit. Because they do have wills of their own. So it might be possible that sometimes this fruit goes, you know what? You no longer serve the higher altitude that I'm trying to reach within a person, and I now need to move on to somebody else that may fit me better. And I think that's a better way of like saying that Kaido probably couldn't awaken, and that has yet to be revealed by Vegapunk. But if so, I think that's a perfect explanation. I think that would be a better fit explanation as to why it didn't happen.
Yo, but if that's and we're lingering too long on this, but if that was the case, we could have gotten chapter or panels dedicated to that inner conflict in Kaido. That could have been amazing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if that's the case, write that. We could have gotten that, and it would have made Kaido's character that much better.
Yeah.
Instead, we got what we got. So, I don't know, man.
But that's what I think. I know, honestly, I know you guys don't like this, but the same way people suspect we're going to get Big Mom back, I believe we're going to get Kaido back, and that's where we're going to see his awakening, because he's going to recognize Luffy as Zoro Boy, and I feel like he was only going to awaken for Zoro Boy. That's how I see it.
That's a whole other conversation. But, yeah.
Ace, thank you so much for the call, man. It's good to see you back here, though, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Thanks. See you guys.
All right, thank you, man.
Good night.
See you later.
Thank you.
All right, we got a couple super chats sitting.
Yeah,
so,
so-
Marv, can you Real quick. Parvision said, Ziori fans stand up, the ultimate minority hunter child. If there was ever a black Kurozumi, it'd be on site. I thought that was hilarious. We were talking about Zoro earlier. We got a $2 super chat from Antoine N. It says, y'all making my head hurt with this Zoro stuff. We got a $2 super chat from Yonosuke. It says, I made it, Seb. Only 20 minutes late. It's all good. Love to have you here, Yonosuke. We got a $5 super chat from Party Pete. It says Ragnar bugging. Yeah, if y'all didn't hear Ragnar's call earlier, it was a little wild. Trying to find the other supers now. 1 second. All right, yeah, we got another $5 from Lord Vegeta, aka Ragnar. It says Vegapunk is a fraud. This message was brought to you by Larry. Larry, I know you signed up for the Vegapunk's a fraud theory, man.
Apparently.
We got a $10 super chat from Psycho Red. It says, or Psycho 6 Red. It says, is Larry speculation without his glasses?
What?
Oh, man. We got another $2 from Lord Vegeta, a.k.a. Ragnar. It says, Par said, we did this with Croc and Eneru, too. I'm mad I just read Eneru out loud instead of an L. Did we? I don't think that we did. We got another $10 from Yonosuke. It says, in Japan, the Azura Dragon, Seiryu, is one of the 4 guardian spirits of cities and is said to protect the city of Kyoto on the east. So he could be right. But again, we went to that as a community for answers.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Again, nobody would have said that about Kaido's fruit if he had just awakened. Another $10 from Psycho 6 Red. It says, take the speculation out of your pocket like your glasses. Oh, man. I guess because you were speculating more than you normally do. Trolling you. We got $20 from AceDAces who just called. It says, I forgot, hashtag Bucky again. Thank you, Ace. Oh, man. Jinx, you want me something? We got another $2 from Red-Haired Shankdom. It says, hashtag Lucci Larry. Also, fix the spin message. Yeah, Marv. I think it says Cal in instead of Colin.
You got Marv giggling behind the window. All right, let's get back to calls.
That was quick.
Gotcha.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Yo, it's Parvision.
Par!
Hey, what's up, Par?
What's up, man? I finally read it, man. I'm sorry. I was trying to read it earlier. I saw it in there.
Yeah, I was just goofing around in the chat, you know. But I hear you guys are having. Wait, how do I sound right now?
You sound good.
Yeah. How's Z doing, man?
Oh, Z's doing great. You're doing great. He was having a fun day today for sure.
Awesome.
But yeah, I heard today's One Piece Madness Day with all these calls. Some crazy stuff being talked about.
Wild Take Day, man. I told you. Break week is Wild Take Week.
We gotta start calling it Wild Take Week.
We do, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been playing with this idea, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. I'm gonna introduce it in the form of shorts first, but I want to know what you guys think first and foremost. And so the idea kind of stems from this, you know, like in the recent chapter 1069, Vegapunk is like the devil fruits are like sins, they're punishments, and Mother Nature loathes them, and essentially the weakness to water and the ocean, the body's water is because they eat devil fruits. And I was kind of looking at that and thinking about that. I was like, and it's kind of crazy because I already know I have like the elemental hockey theory, and like, you know, there's going to be crazier powers in the future, which, you know, is getting some light now. But what I was playing with was the idea is, if Mother Nature can punish somebody from eating a devil fruit, could she like show love or blessing to people? And I was like, is there like an example, or could there be examples in the future of people receiving the Mother Nature's blessing rather than a devil fruit power? And it might come with other things. And I was thinking, like, what would that look like? And like, what would, you know, we in 1069 said Mother Nature was the sea. And so like, if you were blessed by the sea, then would that make you like a fisherman? Like fishermen are blessed by the sea. But then I was like, they're just in water. That's just like their habitat. That'd be like the same thing as saying like humans are blessed by air. So like whatever. But then I was thinking there is an example, but it's like kind of convoluted. It was Sora, the warrior of the sea. They were said to be able to float on water. And I was thinking, I'm like, yo, could that be what like the God Knights and the 𝙏𝙗𝙪𝙀, could they have like the blessing of the sea rather than the curse of the sea? And I was thinking, like, do you guys see a way the One Piece story incorporates that? Because I was just thinking, like, all things have an opposite. So if the sea loathes some people, why not have like there be blessings for others? And that could just be what the 𝙏𝙗𝙪𝙀's powers are. They could just have like Mother Nature's blessings.
Yeah. So I do have an idea. Lawrence, guide me on this while I talk. Just like correct me if I'm wrong. So basically, when I think that Vegapunk was talking, such as like the sins of the sea, it's kind of like the way Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, and then gained sin, right? And it was based on the fact that like they would acquire knowledge that they already had. From when I'm not mistaken, right, Lawrence? Like they already had knowledge, but when they ate the fruit from the tree, they didn't gain any more knowledge. It was already there, right?
No, yeah, they didn't gain any more knowledge. They already had knowledge because God created them perfect. Mm-hmm. So basically what they gained was like pretty much choosing for themselves what was good and bad.
Got you.
Right.
Okay.
So it was like God was the one, the one that placed that as the good figure that decided what was good and bad. What they gained was like they choose for themselves, which resulted in sin and death.
Okay, that's where I was going with it. So when Vegapunk then started to say, well, the truth about devil fruits is that these are the desires and wishes of people through belief that created these type of devil fruits, it came to the realization that they were basically choosing the way of what Lawrence just said, by having that choice, when realistically the choice was to just live peacefully, like live without the desires, live on this beautiful planet, which is the Garden of Eden, and live on what like God has already created, which is the nature of what the One Piece world is. Like just live in it. You don't need to desire more. But since that's the sea, right? Like that's the sea's punishment, is that you did desire more. You did want to believe in these devil fruits that can make you a chain man. You couldn't be happy enough with what you already had. So when the sea punishes you, that's the punishment I think about in terms of like the religious aspect or perspective of what One Piece must be about. And then when it's like the gift from the sea, well, that's the planet. That's the ability to, hang with another person and not be lonely. It's like the simplest things instead of the most complicated, which devil fruits make the world itself, in my perspective. If I made that any clearer, I don't know how to make it more clear because I don't have Lawrence's knowledge, which is why like I had to defer to him. But
yeah, I went real deep. I thought
that's how I thought about
the
it.
explanation for the floating above water was just the hover boots thing that the.
Well, that's it too, because in my aspect, it's like because you can float on water, it wasn't good enough for you. You needed to have more from it. So the sea's punishment is like, well, then you fall. You become a hammer.
Right. And then to what Sebastian said, in that story, the Sora story, the Germa or whatever mythical evil army, they were the technological advanced ones, but then Sora had a giant robot. And I've just been playing with the idea because like the Warrior of the Sea thing is really interesting to me, because now we know that like, well, we always like speculated this, but like, the sea devil, Mother Nature, being the sea, all those things being connected. Now it feels even more likely, like just like Luffy, Nika, Warrior of Liberation, there was a Warrior of the Sea actually being Sora, and Sora means sky in Japanese, and so it links back in a weird convoluted way, but that concept, because the way we saw Brook can run on water, but that's not the same thing as what they described with Sora. It was like standing on water, and it was like it kind of reminded me of Jesus and like being able to walk on water, and obviously Jesus was blessed. So I was just like, maybe there is like this weird, and we do know, especially now, like now that the 𝙏𝙗𝙪𝙀, we got the 𝙏𝙗𝙪𝙀 name, even more we can double down on the fact that there's some kind of Catholic, like, you know, Vatican connection with, you know, 𝙗𝐸 and the 𝙏𝙗𝙪. And so maybe there is a line of logic where, you know, these people or the people of the past are related to these biblical connections. So Sora, I don't know. And you know, a lot of people already meme about how like Usopp being the god, whatever. And then they had him in the crucifixion Jesus pose. But then what's also interesting about that is that he wanted to be the brave warrior of the sea. And I can't help but like think that there might be like some weird way that like there's a blessing there's a counter, an extreme counter to devil fruits that are only applicable to the people next to the current standing god, which would be 𝙗𝐸. And so 𝙏𝙗𝙪, the god knights, which we have no idea about. And when I think about the god knights, it's like, you know, not to go back to the awakening conversations, but are we just going to give them awakened Zoan fruits? Are they just all going to be awakened devil fruits? That'd be kind of weird. So it's like, what kind of fruits are they, or what kind of powers are they going to have? Are they going to be fodder, or are they going to have 𝙧𝐸𝐴 randomly, right? Or are they going to have a different power system, and that would be introduced purely because we don't know about the 𝙏𝙪𝙪, the god knights, and 𝙗𝐸. We have no idea what kind of powers they have. Yeah, so I was just, you know, I know people don't like other power systems, but I was kind of wondering what you guys think about that.
Just to, once you said that, made me think of something. Have you noticed when the 𝙏𝙪𝙪, right? But they're celestial dragons. But take the celestial dragons per se, they would have people eat fruits just for the fun of it. So, but they would never eat it themselves. So if the 𝙏𝙪𝙪 follow that line, it could be that they have their own power. Like you said, they view the power of the fruits as something. For example, if you tie it to the ancient kingdom as something that's against them, if they follow that line with the 𝙏𝙪𝙪, they would as their entertainment, but they would never eat themselves because they're going against what they, you know, their power is or what they believe nature is or whatever. So they probably wouldn't have it if they follow that line, because we haven't seen one celestial dragon eat it, but they would make people eat it for their use and to be able to use by them, but they wouldn't eat it themselves. So the 𝙏𝙪𝙪, who are celestial dragons, they may follow that same line of like, no, we are higher than those fruits, that we don't need them, or that's for the lower beings or people, our enemy.
I think that goes back to like the whole biblical thing of temptation, right? Like when you see power, you like, and this is different than the Bible, where it's like they made people eat the devil fruits and they can see that power visually, but yet they didn't fall to that temptation. That almost alludes to the fact that they might have access to a different power. And you know, like Hidden Island, he subscribes to the idea that the 𝙏𝙪𝙪 and the people are all tech, like science and whatever, but it's almost weirder that way to me, because Vegapunk seems to be the precipice of science in the world, and they want the Seraphims. They needed Vegapunk for that. So if that was their long-standing power, it'd be almost odder to me, and it would make more sense that like you're saying, and that like if they have all these devil fruits, yet they themselves never fell to the temptations of it, then why? For what reason? Are they indoctrinated that these things are devil, you know, powers, or do they have something better? You know, it's a weird thing. It's definitely a weird thing, because I'm not even sure if I want something like that, but I've been sitting on this and I'm like, yo, what will the god knights even have? And then, you know, I see the chat talking about Nami, and like, yeah, I have a whole thing about Nami. I mean, if you guys saw the past episodes where I was on, talked about Nami a decent bit, where it's like, yeah, Nami has this weird backstory we don't know, and then there's like so many other correlations with what do the Saturn and ancient weapon like Uranus, what kind of power does that have? And Uranus means sky, Sora means sky. There's a interesting thing there for sure.
It's always dope to have you theory craft live on the show, man. I love to see it. I do.
I think the only thing I could think of is like, when we think about the celestial dragons and why they wouldn't eat devil fruits, we know one celestial dragon that has eaten a devil fruit, and that's Doflamingo. And like, if anybody would have knew about this other power system, it would probably be him. And for him to eat a devil fruit and still know that power system, I would say that maybe the power system isn't directly something that's channeled within someone's body and then it channels outwards. I think it would, like a devil fruit would, or like 𝙧𝐸𝐴 would. I think it would be the perspective of tainting your own will, with something that's not of godly form to your definition of what being a god is, like the celestial dragons think.
Yeah.
So that's why they make their slaves eat it, because they watch them get tainted by something that's not godly. So they take the joy in the fact of like seeing that type of person be poisoned in a way where they're no more like pure-blooded to a degree. But it could also mean that the celestial dragons or the god knights dip into the power scheme, which is the only other power scheme I think I would be able to accept par, is the ancient weapons category, where like ancient weapons don't always have to be these grand, monumental, colossal objects, right? It doesn't have to be like a giant weather balloon, or it doesn't have to be like Pluton, or it doesn't have to be like, you know, a mermaid that controls the Sea Kings. Maybe it could honestly just be something very, very much smaller that only they know or have access to because they possess probably some scientific knowledge from the ancient kingdom who were making these ancient weapons.
Yeah, you got me thinking a little smaller because you were going higher level than what I was thinking just now. But do you think that reasoning could be why they absolutely would not let Doflamingo back up there?
Yeah.
Because it's
No,
like,
no, that's what I was going.
you ate a
I'm
fruit. Like, no, you're cursed now. Like, you can't.
Or
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or opposite to that. I'm so glad I asked this question because I wasn't even thinking about Doflamingo in that light. But if you also like think back to his story, he went back to the Holy Land and was rejected.
Yeah.
And we don't know, do we know if he had his fruit prior to that or after? Because the way you could also look at it is he could have realized that he would never get that power, so he accepted a different power. And that might be why he wanted to go back.
So, based off the timeline,
didn't he do it when he was a child?
Trebo gave him the gun he killed his dad with and the devil fruit at the same time. We don't see him eat the fruit, per se. We don't know if he straight up ate it at that time, but he went to Mary Joa with his dad's head to say, like, yo, I killed him, let me be back here, and they said no, and then they tried to attack him. So it's like, odds are he ate that fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, you're
so
right,
it could be, that's why my head went like, okay, maybe because he's now tainted to them as a fruit eater.
But you know what this comes down to again? It's like the same thing I brought up earlier about Adam and Eve gaining the freedom of choice. And it's like, maybe Oda's taking that same idea with the celestial dragons, where like if you eat a devil fruit, you're gaining the freedom of choice. So you're no longer allowed to be in the Garden of Eden.
Well, I'll say this.
Oh.
They had free will, though. Adam and Eve always had free will. So
no, I know that, but you're saying the freedom of choice.
Well, it's just like God was their God. They kind of like it was more like they rebelled.
Yeah.
So it's like they lost their relationship with God and they lost perfection. So they never gained anything, but they did choose, or I'm going to decide for themselves. They gained that, but by losing God's approval, his relationship, and perfection. So,
and you do that with devil fruits.
Yeah, okay.
Because
so that's
you're
what
eating,
you're
You're
saying.
saying the correlation is eating the fruit.
I wanted to add something real quick on Bahar.
Yeah, go.
It made me think of, like, for
You triggered
example,
something to me though.
It made me think of, for example, like another power. So now it's interesting, another power that from Vegapunk is saying is through that robot we saw, right? What if just a little bit? We saw that that giant robot that Vegapunk's trying to learn that power is. What if that's the same power that 𝐴𝐴 was using that destroyed Lucinia? He was able to not fully tap into all of it.
That's a whole different conversation.
Okay, like pretty much.
You made me think of the twice so far.
Because you made me think of the ancient kingdoms, but yeah.
Well, like to just address what Lauren said, if you watch, I have a Sora short out right now, and it's in the story. It said that Sora fought the evil army, and it was with a dreamy giant robot. And the thing is, it's like that. I explained why that evil army is really weird to say it's Germa, because they already explained Stealth Black's power, but Stealth Black never existed in our timeline. It made no sense for them to know Stealth Black's power. So I was thinking like, oh, maybe they're talking about the ancient kingdom. Sora was an ancient warrior, and that robot was the legendary Iron Giant. And so what you're saying is that Sora being connected to 𝐴𝐴 could very well be there. But just going back to like the main thing that I was talking about, what you said about like, you know, they always had free will. It was just that they were connected to God, and because they didn't rebel. And that's really interesting to me, because the way I was thinking about it was like the authority chips that Vegapunk has. I think that everything that existed in that Vegapunk created existed in the Void Century. So the authority chip was one of them. And I know a few people I was in the TOPT Discord, actually, like a VC with a few people, and we were talking about it. I think Larry was in there some of the conversation, actually. But I was thinking, like, wait, what if there was like a natural version of that, and 𝑒am has that on all the Celestial Dragons, and the Devil Fruit is what allows you to break that authority chip, something like that, and that might explain why they rejected Doflamingo, why you can't have a Devil Fruit and be a Celestial Dragon. It might be something like that, where 𝑒am has some kind of indoctrination or authority over the people, and it's very difficult to break. But as we're seeing with the authority chip itself, that there is limited ability to make decisions, and we're still learning about that. So it could be something similar, and it would line up with that biblical thing where all the Celestial Dragons, yeah, they have free will, but they're not rebelling against God in the same way. And it would take something like a temptation, like a Devil Fruit, or some other willpower like Nika to break that authority that 𝑒am has. I'm curious about that, because then 𝙂𝙗𝙪 would be a really interesting person to dissect in that light. Wow, you guys gave me a lot of things to talk about.
Well, this is where, like, for me, then the most important aspect of the show is the decision of Don Quixote homing. Dolphy's father. Why did he decide to leave, knowing everything he knew, and he didn't eat a Devil Fruit? Like, why did he decide to resist
we technically don't know
rebel?
that.
And it's like, we don't know. So
he might have had a fruit, but I doubt
I think that's the bigger theory right here now, is like, out of everything we just theorized, he's probably the focal point of proving all this to be true, or all this to be, false. And
yeah, and all of the things, they're all the Don Quixote.
Yeah, and he left willingly. He left, like, because he saw something wrong. So what got that out of him? And then we have actually we don't know what caused him, but we know that there's there's one other person in the entire show that was a Celestial Dragon as well, and they went to Fishman Island, had a change of heart, and 𝙂𝙗𝙪 is now doing something similar, but he's staying there.
And he's Don Quixote too. Don Quixote 𝙂𝙗𝙪, Don Quixote homing, and Don Quixote Doflamingo. They're all Don Quixote.
You know what's gonna happen in like an hour or two? Par's gonna hit us up because he researched the names 𝙂𝙗𝙪, homing, and stuff, and it's gonna be a whole nother element to this, bro. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Maybe it's something strange either with the family and they're already tainted, like we suspect, or they have a resistance. Which would make them very special, or maybe a special race that exists within the Celestial Dragons that we don't know about.
Yeah. So I want to hold up too long. I'm so glad I got to call in, because, now that Z's here, it's difficult to come into the studio. But it'll happen sometime soon.
Hold on. If you do come to the studio, you have to bring him. I want to take pictures. Bro, we got to see him, bro.
That's a whole endeavor, bro.
You think he's going to leave? Baby Z can defend himself from what I'm hearing. All right.
Nah, Teresa probably, she'll want to bring Zenith over. But also, Lawrence, where are you in the Discord? I need to have Bible talk with you, bro. You need to.
Okay. I'm down.
Yeah, he's always down for Bible talk. Yeah. Literally every time I hit Lawrence out for Bible talk, he gets back to me immediately. So yeah.
Every other time he leaves you on red.
Yeah, he'll never answer.
That is not true.
But thank you, Par. You know we love you, dog.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Feelings mutual. Thank you for entertaining me. Thanks for the love in the chat. Enjoy the rest of the stream. I'll be lurking here. Peace out, guys.
All right, later.
Have a good night, man.
Marv, we're gonna do sponsor. Let's do sponsor, and then we'll get back, guys.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you been struggling lately? Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, difficulty with a relationship, or just struggling from low self-esteem. Listen, I've been there. We've been there. If so, then today's BetterHelp wants to help you. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. Talk to your therapist in a private, online environment at your own convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. You just fill out a questionnaire, simple as that, to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Then you schedule a secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages and everything you share is completely confidential. I happened to sign up at one point regarding my confidence issues. Next thing you know, my confidence issues are not issues anymore. I'm doing pretty well in that area. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. Special offer goes out to all that One Piece Talk listeners. You get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/TOPT. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TOPT. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, we back. I was trying to tell you.
My bad, guys. You can throw up the number again.
I gotta read some of these super chats real quick. We got a $10 super chat from Psycho6Red. It says, "Par don't have Larry speculate." We got a $5 super chat from 𝙧𝙀𝐻𝐵. It says, "Been waiting my whole life for this. Hashtag Lucci Larry. Can't wait to hop on here and talk about my iceberg theory with Blackbeard." Okay, that's interesting. We got a $2 super chat from Draven. Hopefully I said that right correctly this time. It says, "So where do we think Karibo is going to come in?" I don't have anything.
I have nothing, bro.
Yeah. He I don't know.
I haven't known anything about him since like Fishman Island, bro.
I like the theory that he absorbed Bonnie and Vegapunk, or just Vegapunk.
Most likely he's trying to leave because he said he wasn't trying to be anywhere near this island.
Yeah, but he's all about getting valuable stuff, and Egghead is full of valuable stuff. But we got another $5 super chat from Gabe. It says, "Happy Monday, hashtag Buggy Gang." Thank you,
guys.
Gabe. We got another $3 from Shandy Wandy. It says, "The boys are cooking like the stream."
Thank you, guys.
Hashtag
like the
Buggy
stream if you haven't liked the
Gang.
stream, please.
We got another $2 from Ryunosuke. It says, "I got next." We'll see. And then another $5 from Celestial Donkey. It says, hashtag Buggy
Thank you, CD.
Gang. I love that will never die. Ever.
Till
But
Buggy does.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Marv. Hit the
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you? How are you?
Hey there, guys. My name is Zach. I know I've been listening out for a very cool minute. I appreciate all the work y'all do as well.
Hey, thank you, man.
Appreciate
Nice
that.
meeting you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
No problem. And I know Piracy, man, he talked for a cool minute.
Yeah.
It's like I had enough time to pick up my kid and everything.
What's up, man?
So I've been thinking about this for a cool minute now. So if we're looking at how Zone's awakenings are basically getting unfold. Now with Luffy, before we never knew he was a Zone. So if we look at his progress and how he uses fruit, we have the pre-time skip, we have afterwards after the time skip, and now we have everything that's going on now. With Luffy, he has different, he has drawbacks every time he additions to a new power. Now, if we look at Chopper's fruit, he had to use his rumble balls. Now, him using his rumble balls, basically, when he used exceeded mouth, basically it's a drawback. Now, I know everybody's hating Wano. I'm feeling the same way, too, about Wano. But what about if there's another level 2 zones where Kaido basically, except for trying to summon his zone, it's more to where he basically harnesses power like Luffy does after training with Rayleigh, but still has the drawbacks though.
Yeah. I'm just making it clear. This is referring to like Kako and Lucci, right? And their awakenings.
Honestly, what comes down to Kaido, we're coming up to Luffy and I meant nope, like just no reason for them to bring out, but I just go on discussion why we haven't seen Kaido's awakening.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had a pretty big segment on this earlier. I wish you were here.
I know. I was like in the mix of it, but picking up the kids and stuff like that. I don't know where I'm at on the conversation.
Basically, it just came down. Damn, there was so much talked about. Yeah. So I'll say something different than before. What's very interesting about Chopper is that when we looked at him being a Zoan and what he did with his own abilities, we always saw that when he did too many of his Rumble Balls, it did go into a different Zoan form, which the effect was his mind and body wasn't caught up to his Devil Fruit, which made him go into like that scary form, which I still think he should have post time skip. But he doesn't have it anymore, right? Because he has more control and training now. And the same thing with Luffy, even though he didn't have the ability to force himself into those situations of going into like Zoan forms where he couldn't control it either. It's just Kaido, he had everything. He didn't need to be forced. And I think ultimately we just thought that he should have been able to. Just because he has everything. He has everything you could possibly need in a One Piece character in order for it to make it happen. And even the undead part of his personality contradicts what the fruit's will actually is. And the explanation of why he wouldn't be able to probably means like either the fruit no longer saw him fit, which would be its own will, making a direct correlation to what Vegapunk was saying about devil fruits having wills and being the desires of people who have a certain belief, and then it's created. And then it brings itself to that person that they think that can fulfill their ultimate potential. So that's really it. I don't have anything else. I wish I had more, but it was like we talked about it so much earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
No worries, but I definitely understand. And also, too, as well, I was thinking, too, is like looking at everything that happened on Wano. What about if it's like Kyle is just using way too much energy to basically just to be able to go Luffy full out?
I would have believed that if he wasn't dodging lightning bolts.
Honestly, that's true.
like I saw him take a knee, but at the same time, he was keeping up with Luffy, who's outspeeding Lucci right now. So,
one thing I just want to comment about Chopper. Wait, you're about to say something special?
No, I got it.
About Choppers is interesting because you're bringing out like the Rumble Ball and his ability, but he ate the human fruit, right?
Yeah.
Remember, Chopper's originally a deer or a reindeer, right? He ate the human fruit, but he's not turning into a human. You know,
we know of.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, imagine that's his awakening.
He just turns pale human.
It might be.
But like we notice, like he also has one of the most transformations out of any Zoan, right? So basically, what he's doing is like he's just transforming his own reindeer body, right? So like I'm not saying that he already has these transformations in himself, but I think that's interesting. Where like he's not, because most Zoans, they turn more into that beast form, but Chopper's not doing that at all. He's just changing shape of his already deer creature, Yeah. So it's like even that. So like changing the size of it. So like that's the thing is interesting because also Armeo is like Rob Lucci, right? He's the only other person we saw that had an extra form, because usually like there's it's the hybrid, then it's the full beast mode, and then there's awakening. Where Rob Lucci was able to use life return to do a new form with his leopard, right? So, but that was off of mastery off the CP0 techniques, where Chopper's using it through drugs and like I guess science, where he's able to change different forms. So I think Zoans, if you could tap into like some way where you could alter your forms, you would be able to create more forms that's outside of what was the fruit's already given you. And I think that's what the example we're seeing with Chopper doing, but he's doing it more in a way that's harming himself. But if you're able to control it because it's already his body, it's not like he didn't eat the deer fruit, he ate the human fruit. So I think he's able to have more transformations because he's already a creature, he's already an animal.
That could be it too.
Yeah.
Because he popping them pills, bro. Y'all gotta stop. Chopper a drug addict, and y'all need to acknowledge that. They need to get him help, honestly.
You do realize I doubt Chopper's doing it where it's going to.
We've seen him OD.
No, but
we've seen him OD on it, Lawrence.
But I'm saying it's right. It's not in a way where like you saw how like the giant pills what Caesar created is killing him. Chopper will know he wouldn't inject himself with something that dangerous. So I think Chopper's doing it in a way where he could alter his form without having too much stress or strain or there's actually killing him.
Imagine Nami walks in on him and like there's like a needle and a spoon.
I need this.
No, get out of here. You want no part of this? You want no part of this, Nami.
I was about to say.
We shouldn't joke about that.
That's not funny.
Zach, thank you, bro.
No problem. But I do got one more thing too.
Yeah.
I believe that once Egghead cools down, probably get that more information about the devil fruits, and most likely we'll probably see a little bit more coming from Luffy and maybe possibly Chopper, because for our knowledge, Chopper might be using his fruit wrong because of the drugs.
It's true too.
Yeah.
That is very true.
That's what it goes into. He's a kid, you know. So
He a
Because the
teenager.
whole thing right now is just the whole build-up, because we're just getting fed little information about devil fruits until everything calms down. Then we'll get that full detail, like Oda said.
Yeah. We'll see, man. We're gonna have to see on Choppers. But Zach, thank you, man. I'm glad you called in. I'm glad to hear your voice. Thank you,
man,
bro.
welcome.
yeah, appreciate that.
No problem. I was trying to see once I get some free time, join y'all Discord, but honestly, y'all doing a great job. I know I've been listening to so many different broadcasts on One Piece, so it's like so many different things that can come out to this.
Listen, our Discord is fire. If y'all haven't joined already, please do. Game nights, watch parties, the whole shebang, man. And the DDT popping every Wednesday.
Definitely, for sure.
Shameless plug.
All right, Zach. Thank you, Brody.
Yeah. See ya.
No problem. Y'all be safe out there.
Yeah, you too, man. See ya.
Okay.
Quick with the super.
Yeah, we got a couple soups sitting. We got $5 from 𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐿. It says Larry got to make a Regulate by Warren G remix called Speculate. Yo, that is so funny to me because that is Dad's favorite song. We got another $2 from Draven. It says Karibo is Dragon's brother.
Definitely not.
Oh man, some weird ones today. We got $2 from Akuma. It says, man, I get beat to the call every time. Keep trying, man. Pull up. You gonna be here.
And then we could start the calls again.
Yeah.
Oh, they hung up.
Call back.
Oh, next one. Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Bellis.
Hey, what's up,
Bellis,
bro?
what up? Yo, I smiled. I don't know if you peeped. I don't know if you peeped.
I know you did, bro.
He said, I know you did, bro. What's up, man?
Hey, quick question. Just something to think outside the box. Let's say the Marines and famous Marines like Smoker, other people like that, if they get their bounties, what bounties would you guys give them and why?
Smoker getting an easy 30 mil, bro.
Oh, you a hater.
30
You a
mil,
hater,
bro.
bro.
Why? Because he's a bum. Dude hasn't done anything since pre-time skip.
Man.
Tashigi might have a 45 million.
Tashigi
bill.
more than Smoker?
Did way more than him so far.
When?
In my opinion.
When?
Listen, bro, she was on Punk Hazard doing something, I think.
She got bodied in like 2 seconds.
We legit had Smoker say, "Don't fight Law. Your hack is not strong enough."
Yo, bro, she got like trolled the worst way possible. Law was like, weaklings can't choose their
real talk.
method of death.
Saul's bounty might have been like a Billy, bro.
Nah.
Peter Berman?
Yo, listen.
Saul?
Yeah, the reason I say that is because he broke Olvia out of prison, and they were researching like all the knowledge of ancient history. Also, like he's a D clan member, and he defected from like the Marines, and he was a vice admiral, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a giant.
All right, so here's the thing.
I'm telling you, bro.
You're right. The thing is, you're referencing this with cross guild, correct? Or correct me if I'm wrong. Like you're talking about like the cross guild bounties that they're
No,
putting
he
on
was just
Marines,
saying
or
like,
just
what's
in
the
general?
bounties, bro?
Or just in general?
Yeah, just in
Because
general.
like I don't think they have all this money to be paying people out. They can't be putting out $1 billion bounties on people if they can't pay it out.
We have like how many people with $1 billion
No,
bounties,
but that's why I asked the cross guild question. The world government has this kind of money. The Marines aren't getting bounties on them from the world government. I need to know the parameters before I give my answer.
You're just being too much, bro.
Am I?
Just say what you would think off the rip.
It impacts it.
Have we seen any of the bounties to like base it off like already from the Marines?
We saw like stars, like when
Stars?
it was like little star stuff, like 2 stars, 3 stars, whatever.
Bro, it don't matter, bro.
It do.
If the government is like, yo, take Soul down, alive or dead.
But Larry,
But he's talking about the
I
question
don't
that
know
he-
if that's what his question is.
Yeah.
Is that the question? Is it the world government putting the bounties on the Marines, or is it Cross Guild putting the bounties on these Marines?
No. Like, let's say let's say the emeralds from right now, they just get bounties.
From who though? Who's issuing the bounty? The world government or Cross Guild?
Let's say the world government. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's the question.
All right. I didn't know
From the
that.
jump.
I didn't know that. All right. Yeah, billions. Oh man, if an admiral's it would be at least like maybe even 5 billion, yo.
5?
You're an admiral. You're a full admiral, bro.
Stop.
Yo, I'm serious.
No. It's gonna be. It's in the billions.
But
5 is too much.
You have all the information.
You do realize the only
five might be too high.
the only people who have 5 right now is legit that we know of is Gold Roger and Whitebeard. The only people.
You know why I'm wilding? Because
You jumped in.
𝙑𝙧𝙪 bounty ain't that high.
We haven't seen.
I know it's not 5 billion. So
Yeah, we
I'm
know
already
it's not.
wilding.
Dude, it's gonna be for the Admirals. It's gonna be. I'm gonna go at least 3. At least 3. I'm
gonna scale mine back to
3.
minimum.
And for the Admirals,
minimum 2.
for Smoker, I'm gonna give him. What was it like? I'm gonna go like 5 at max, like 500 million.
I was gonna go lower, which is why, because I'm the smoker.
Maybe
fan.
400.
I was gonna go 250.
The OG admirals would be about like, they'd be around like a bill as well. And the reason I say that is because we're not saying they're with crews. Now, that's the influence of having a crew, is that you're going to be able, like, Crocodile and Mihawk's bounty wasn't what it was, bro, until they joined the guild. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they had their bounties clipped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They
Like
were Shichibukai.
But even so, they still weren't that high because inflation took fold. So they're going to be much lower than they were before. So if Aokiji's just out here running by himself, his bounty is going to be lower than everybody else's.
But here's the problem with what you're saying right now, Larry, right? And I get what you mean. Like, they don't have backings or crews and stuff. But, like, Aokiji could probably wipe all of Amazon Lily.
That's cool.
Like, all of it. And
That's all right.
Boa's bounty is what it is.
That's all right.
You get what I'm saying?
I know that Mihawk can slice an island in half. But, necessarily, was he more of a danger than a Yonko crew with Whitebeard on it? Or Kaido on it? Or Big Mom? No. That's why they were like, yo, we probably don't even need to send a vice admiral after this guy. We could just bombard him with, like, a bunch of things. He doesn't have anything except himself. He's going to tire out eventually.
But himself is that frolic, though.
Yo, but, like,
you know what I'm saying?
He's still less of a danger. So I would say that Aokiji and them would be most likely a Billy. But if they joined up, like, a crew, like, if they joined on, like, a crew itself, they'd probably be, like, 2 Billy.
So
3 Billy.
what do y'all think Aokiji's bounty is right now? He's a former admiral who's on a Yonko crew right now. Like, you get what I'm saying?
I say it's probably like a Billy less than Blackbeard, because Oda's gonna give the respect to Blackbeard.
Yeah, but Aokiji should have the second highest bounty.
Yeah, he has the second highest bounty for sure.
I don't even remember what Blackbeard is, but it's 3 something.
It's 3 something.
Yeah, it's
he
3
probably
something.
has like
it's probably 2 at least.
2.95, something like that. 2 or maybe a 3.
Because also it's like he's an admiral with that Hawk's ability, but with the Marine training.
Yo, real talk, Virgo's bounty was like 800 mil, 850.
So then I think
he was giving secrets away though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. I'm actively
no, they don't know that though.
But they under the premise of putting a bounty on his head, they know it now.
They don't reach Virgo's bounty.
No, you gotta stop adding things, bro. Just be like, yo, what would he be outside of it? I think he'd be like 850.
What's Garp's bounty?
Oh shit. Oh, sorry to curse.
He's retired though. They're not gonna.
Oh man, Garp's bounty would probably be like.
His would be like 3, 4.
I think he would be like 4.
4 billion.
Yeah, I think he would be like.
Bounty,
I think it would be like.
But yo, you gotta keep the same parameters though. He doesn't have any back. It's just him.
Well, you're right.
He'd be taking.
No, you know what it is. You know what it is. No, you're right. You're right. I can't say that. The only reason I picked 4 is because of his accomplishments and what he's been able to do. Yeah. Like, the world's strongest swordsman doesn't really mean anything to me, especially when there's no swordsman out there. It's like, so when we talk about Garp, he joined up with Roger, right? That's an accomplishment. He was part of defeating Rocks, which is crazy to me, obviously, in my opinion. Then he has the connections with, like, Whitebeard. He was withholding Ace with
Yo,
Rouge.
and his
There's
son
a lot.
is Dragon, and
His
his
son is
grandson
Dragon.
is
Yeah.
And also,
so he's
Yo,
considered-
5 billion. I'm going
No,
to 5 billion.
no,
stop.
he wouldn't be
I'm
5
going
billion.
5 billion.
No, he
bro.
wouldn't.
I'm jumping out the
You
window.
guys also forgot. Remember, he took on the 𝙏𝙗𝙪𝙢𝙪 Pirates all by himself, no crew at all.
Yeah, and Don Chinchal was out here splitting ice continents.
Yeah,
Yo,
and he
I'm
was.
going Garp 5
He's not
billion.
5. He's not 5.
Also, if I'm gonna say like Sengoku and him were like best buds and stuff, and they fought _Shiki, and Shiki was considered like one of those. Yo, I'm telling you, Garp's resume is stacked, bro.
No, it is.
You know who would be crazy? Damn, I just had them in my mind. Damn it, Momonga. I think Momonga.
Momonga?
Yeah,
What are you
no,
talking about?
yo, I think Momonga would be like 600. 600.
Okay.
600 mil.
Okay.
I think he'd be definitely somebody to be feared on the seas.
But why though?
Well, Momonga, like, he was one of the first people we ever saw get out of Boa Hancock's ability.
But I
on his
played him
own.
on that.
Hold on. But he had enough will to stab himself in the leg. We've never saw any other Marines do that. Even the Marines that came with Kobe to capture her, nobody else survived her devil fruit power except Kobe. So we already know he's at a certain level where he can maintain himself against her. But I also think he would be able to fight back to a degree as well. And I think that's enough to give me the confidence of saying Momonga could be like 600 mil, maybe a little higher. I might be downplaying him, to be honest.
600 is a lot, bro.
Yeah.
I don't,
I was tripping when I
Yo,
said Smoker.
Bastille?
I would say
Bastille?
Virgo's probably 600,
Yo,
bro.
Bastille, 300, bro.
Bastille.
Bro, you was out here
Wait.
talking about Smoker is 30 mil.
Yeah, Smoker's a trash though, bro.
Bro, Smoker probably beat Bastille in a fight right now. You get what I'm saying?
Nah.
Yeah, didn't he get like sadly one shot by like Sabo?
Yo, but it's Sabo. He's
Yeah, I
second
know.
in command of Dragon. Like, what?
Yo, remember when Smoker did
we get Sabo
easily
done?
handled by Ace, who was second in command to...
Hold on, what about yours, bro? You didn't say yours.
Hey, no, look, he was scrapping.
Hold on, we've been going over, like,
Virgo.
it's such a good question. Can you answer your own question, please?
Yeah, so I honestly would think Akainu and Green Bull will be together, since Green Bull is like a puppy. So I honestly think both of them will make a crew. And Akainu, I honestly have Akainu and Aokiji on top. Reason is because Akainu, he don't take nothing, not even from the world government. Even when he's a Marine, he talks to him straight up. So now imagine getting the boot. Now he could do whatever he wants. So I got him around 4 bill. Aokiji the same, and the reason is because since he knows the history of some of the history of Ohara and how he didn't accomplish or finish his mission to kill Robin, and of course the world government is going to take that in consideration. So I have him 4 bill. Fujitora, I have 3 bill. I'm definitely not going lower 3 bill all the Ambrose.
Okay.
Because
I can see that.
Ambrose and Jonkos are the same in my opinion.
Oh, Larry gonna fight you.
Yeah, I wish.
No.
I think
Hey,
Fuji alone would have a higher bounty, because if we're gonna place Light, so Kizaru, this is why I didn't say Kizaru or Fuji, is because if we're gonna give the respect to Whitebeard that he has the strongest devil fruit in the game, like Paramecia wise, and Blackbeard too, then I would say the reason why they'd have a higher bounty than like Aokiji or Akainu is because they can affect the world differently due to their hacks abilities in accordance to like what the other admirals are capable of doing. And it's like when you have somebody like that can control gravity, necessarily he can control anything. When you have somebody that can control light, they can do anything. And it's like, regardless of what other people would think, I get like being the strongest swordsman in the world is a very much a huge accomplishment, and it means how dangerous you are. But when it means to the world, you can only cut so much in a certain amount of time. But if I was to turn your whole island into like light and just sink the city whenever I felt, or like cause an earthquake, which would then cause a tidal wave that could sink like 3 islands, or like just create a black hole in the middle of the ocean and just tear everybody asunder on half of the planet, I'm going to give you a higher bounty than those other 2 people, in my opinion.
I'm sorry, I read something in the chat. But Good question, Bellis. Honestly, it had us really thinking about it.
I like that question.
That was
That
fun.
was a good one.
Yeah, the Marines having bounties.
I'm trying to think of like the other Marines now. Like, what would Kobe's?
I was
bounty
gonna
be?
bring up Kobe, but I didn't want to like get into the
I'll
Kobe.
put Kobe at 30 instead of the Smoker. Smoker should have about 500.
Yo, 500. Yo, so y'all with the 500s, it's like
Ace is beating his ass right now.
Here's
You
the
are
thing, here's the thing,
crazy.
here's the thing.
I know beating him now.
Here's the thing. Oda actively like created this bounty structure, right? Where like Oven got 300 million and like Peckham's got 300. Like there's people that are around that level that get a specific kind of bounty, right? And then like if you elevate above that level, like Ace did, you get like 500 million. You get what I'm saying? I just don't see Smoker being looked at in this light where it's like, yo, he getting 500 million. That's why I said 250, but I'll probably go 300 maybe for him. Kobe, he has a little bit of extra like folklore to him where he's getting called a hero and all that, and like for him to switch up.
Bro, you gotta get the hero thing out of there, bro. We're just saying what their bounties would be right now.
But Sebastian, you gotta think. Luffy got 300 million
I respect that.
pre-time skip. Smoker now destroys that Luffy.
Yeah, but we're not just going based off scaling though. We're going. Yo, Lord, Larry, stop.
Does he?
Larry,
Does he?
dude, that version of Luffy couldn't beat that version of Smoker.
Yo,
chill out, bro. Chill out. Larry. Chill out, bro.
Yo.
Wow.
Yo, if my theory holds correct, where Luffy was using Haki against Crocodile, and so was Zoro during Alabasta, yo, he probably eventually would have beat
You
Smoker,
know
bro.
he's fought Smoker after those 2 points of time, right?
But see,
and couldn't hurt him at all.
You got to use the
with
different
Ace's
Luffy.
life on the line.
Because Luffy was using Haki, yes, against Magellan and at the Marineford War, but he couldn't control it.
Yo, I get that.
I don't know if he was using Haki versus Magellan. I wanted him to be, but I don't know if he was using Haki versus Magellan.
According to what Blackbeard said, he said that his Haki got stronger.
Yeah, what I mean is like it wasn't like it would be like some Haki would leak out while he's attacking.
Yo, but he attacked Smoker at Marineford and did no damage.
Kobe and Smoker probably have the same bounty, bro. If we keep it in a
Yo, if you want to say that, cool, but it's not 30 million.
I know it's not 30. I'm obviously trolling.
But no, but if they were to fight right now, I got Smoker.
Yo, real talk
over Kobe.
I know that this is gonna sound crazy, and I don't want people to like gun me for this, but yo, Suru, right? Everybody be always talking big game about Suru, but she hasn't done shit, bro.
She had no Flamingo. Don't be sorry and say, yo, I'm out.
Yo,
I don't care, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
He wanted
Yo, she an easy like 700 mil, bro.
When Blackbeard be running from people, it be all this evidence that he's weak and soft and all that. Don't be straight up saw Suru in this and say, yo, we are out. Period.
Yo, that can mean anything, bro.
But you use it to bump Suru. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying, but like. Suru like the Sakura of the series, bro. If we being real, right? Like we can't make like she got Sakura.
Goku Sasuke?
No. Suru's not the Sakura. If you want to go Sakura, you have to go
Sasuke. He just went full Team 7, which would make Kakashi Kong, Sengoku Sasuke, Naruto Garp, which makes me cringe even just saying that out loud, and Sakura. Suru was so much cooler than Sakura, bro.
How?
If you want me, how?
She turns people into clothes, bro. Cool. How's that effective?
She washing folks.
No. She legit washes. I think she washes like the bad addies, so you become like a.
Which is why Dofi was
he was like, "Oh, I ain't gonna beat me no more. I'm out."
All right. Oh, man. Anyway, any other words?
Fellas.
I got one last question for you, Larry.
Yeah.
What would be your reaction if now we know anyone can be awakened. Next time we see Smoker and he's awakened.
He probably will be.
Yo, real talk. What would it be, bro? Tell me.
Yo.
Tell me what the smoke would be.
He could like
more smoke.
Put smoke in your lungs.
Yo, honestly,
like the guy from the commercial.
Yo, but
I don't know what it would be, but I'm definitely giving 500. 500 with that awakening.
Damn, yo. More smoke.
No, you could do a lot with smoke. Smoke can affect you when you can't breathe and die. Like what Caesar does, he could be able to do it.
That's crazy. Like if it surrounds you, right?
Bro, just
because I saw Virgo do that. I saw Virgo get surrounded.
Yo,
nothing happened.
But Virgo be smoking. You know what I'm saying? He good. If you got baby lungs around,
you're gonna start making your eyes tear. But I can't.
Do you
see.
like smoked turkey?
Yeah. Yo, Smoker gonna be nice next time we see him, yo. That's my boy.
No, real talk. If he did turn into like some type of ash,
yeah,
where it's like ash from like a volcano, that would go hard.
Yeah, bro.
Because then you could actually suffocate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then we have Caesar, and look at it. He's just a
but Caesar's not
better
a
version
fighter.
of Caesar.
It's Caesar, but now I can fight for real.
And his hockey is,
I got a little
getting there.
My reaction would be like, damn, that's crazy.
But he said should have his ability for a good minute. And
Listen, I don't
think he would be mad to Smoker awaken. He'd be like, okay, cool, you can do more stuff.
Finally.
But thank you, bro. I appreciate the question.
No problem, guys. Thank you for getting my call. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. Talk to you later.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Thank you. Someone put gives you luck gets.
Yo, I said that before. Secondhand smoke. Yo, it could be a whole attack.
Hey, man, chill out.
His awakening, secondhand smoke.
And then somebody's like,
dang.
Did you just give me cancer?
Come on,
The
man.
fuck?
You know his
Somebody's
counter?
like, yo, just say no.
You know his counter? Sanji. He said, I've been smoking for years, bro.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from that One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Yo, this is Terrence.
Yo,
What's up, Terrence?
Yo, Larry called you out earlier, bro. I don't know if you saw.
What's up, man?
I didn't see. One call. One quick thing, real quick. The one call earlier talking about Kaido. We didn't see Kaido's awakening. Keep telling y'all the dragon is his awakening, but y'all want to listen.
I'm not gonna
That's
listen.
on y'all.
I'm not listening.
Okay, so I got like two possible things to talk about. Which one we gonna do depends on this question. Have y'all seen film Red?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right then. So we can talk about this. It's about the origin of devil fruits. I don't know if y'all know this, but Oda said that how the Demon King in their top musica.
Mm-hmm.
Oda said that that the Demon King is related to the origin of devil fruits. Which now we know more about that. Like the origins are the hopes and desires of people taking form. And, and he said in an interview that the Demon King was the fear and despair of men taking form. The fear and sadness and despair of men taking form. So what y'all think about that? And what y'all think about what that means for the future of like, we'll see a devil fruits? And you think maybe we might see like a canonized Demon King, like a race of demons or something like that? Like maybe even Emu might be really like a demon related to the origin of the devil fruits.
I hope not.
I mean, that's really interesting because in that light, it would be that this top music or this Demon King person is hearing these wishes from people and actively creating them, but with the caveat that you have to eat a fruit / you lose the ability to swim. So it's like, in my mind, if he has this kind of, if the Demon King or whatever has that kind of abilities, like, I need to know what the correlation is to why water. You know what I mean? Because that kind of ability is crazy. Like, if I can make devil fruits because people are wishing and hoping for them, like, actively, like, I can just create them. I think the fact that they're fruits or referred to as fruits means there's going to be some sort of tree involved. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that they're being created in this way. Again, I said it when we first talked about it. Like, that was Vegapunk's theory, right? And I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm just saying because it was phrased by Oda as a theory, odds are there's going to be some other element. It could totally be the Demon King element, but there should be some other element.
For sure.
I just
no,
don't
what
know.
I mean is what I mean is like I'm not saying that the Demon King is creating the devil fruit.
Okay.
When we're saying that it's connected to it, I mean it has like a similar origin, like they're related. Like I said, like the devil fruit. The theory is that they are the hopes and desires, and that the Demon King is literally the opposite, like the fear, sadness, and despair taking form.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so something like that. Do you think we might see something related in that way? Like another.
So, I don't, and it's because of the conversation we had a little bit early on the pod regarding the nature of the sea and its punishment. And I think that It is possible that with dreams and desires, on the opposite side of that coin comes fear and hopelessness, and that generates some type of belief in something else. But since it's tied to belief, you don't really believe in your fears to a degree. You just think them. You think that it's like a false delusion that you cause yourself, which causes like anxiety. You worry about something more than anything, right? When you fear something, you fear that it's gonna hurt you. I don't think that you don't fear something and create it to a degree, even though you kind of do, because you make up something that's not real. But when you believe in something, it's different than fearing, right? And that's where devil fruits come into play, where like people are having a belief that this can somehow come true. They want it to come true, whereas like fear, they don't want it to come true. So it probably won't manifest unless they continuously, divulge in that type of thought process, which then causes them like further depression and sadness, right? So I don't think necessarily Oda is going to take the story into that route, because it adds like this whole other system to devil fruits that we kind of don't have enough room for. So I think he'll kind of lean on the nature aspects of what devil fruits' weaknesses are, and that would be the sea. And I think we'll get more nature benefits according to how the devil fruits can be affected, instead of getting the opposite side of that coin of fear and hopelessness and worry. And I think that would be better for the story, because once we start going into like the devil's work into most of those things, the devil, they say, right, is like always tells a lie or is not really real. It's just more like the madness of man. And for me, I think, what always brings it back to a balance is the nature. Like the sea is always going to balance out what's happening in the show. And the sea is a very big part of the One Piece world. So to me, I do not think it's going to go in that direction. And I hope it doesn't, because it would take away from the magical aspect of what makes One Piece great.
I feel you on that. But also, it makes me think about it, the saying between a rock and a hard place, right?
Yeah.
You know what the another version of that is?
What?
Between the devil and the deep blue sea.
I've never heard that, but that's cool.
Yeah. It's old Caribbean version. And it makes me think, I see like little elements of that right here in this little, when I heard about the top music thing. But especially with the weakness of water too.
But even so, it's like even when Oda has brought up like gods or like devils, it's never been in direct correlation to the actual idea of what a god or a devil means, right? It's always the characteristics of those entities, and he adds them into the story, into people, and they end up being false. They end up having a completely different meaning. Like devil fruits are probably really not devil fruits, right? They're only named devil fruits by the people that are considering themselves gods. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, we're never going to get into that aspect of like, there's going to be like anti-devil fruits where they're going to be called god fruits, but they give everything to a person that worries them or helps them fear even more. I don't ever think it's going to get into that possibility. It's just way too much for the story.
Even beyond that, the fruits being called devil fruits is probably just a generalization of people trying to stigmatize them so you don't eat them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know that they're really.
Yeah, it's never gonna get to that point.
Yeah, and it goes to me too why they're called it is because one, the curse thing, but also how, in a way, people with abilities, you can kind of see where it changes them, where it gives you a false sense of power, where it could change you to being evil now. Now you start abusing it, where you become like an evil person, like the devil, where you're using this newfound power to do evil, corrupt, and push people down and stand above them or hurt people or for your own selfish reasons. And also too, the sea wise, where it's like now you use aspect of what you're able to do. You can't swim now. You get weakened to the sea or nature. So that's why it could be called like devil. And then I agree with Larry saying it could change a lot if Oda starts adding that aspect into it. I believe it could even take away from the show depending on how he does it. Where we're going against nature, where it goes like, for example, what we believe what 𝙃𝐻𝐻 is saying is that it's battling against people's wills, people's desires and dreams of trying to change certain things or change aspect of their own living situation where Mother Nature is like more of a natural flow of things, but them with the fruits is where ability where you're actively changing the natural flow of things because you can manipulate sometimes even nature itself. So I can see why they kind of go against each other, but now you add the Demon King into it. I don't know where he's going with that, and as of right now I wouldn't like it. So
yeah, I feel you on that. Me personally, I was just thinking about that too. I mean, me personally, I'm more so interested in more uncovering more about hockey anyway. But that was just a theory that I was thinking about.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's been brought up before that there has to be an opposite coin to dreams and desires.
For sure, yeah. And he said, just say that in the interview about the top music thing. And one more quick thing. Let me ask you something. Do y'all think that Nami should learn ninjutsu in Wano? Because here's the thing, her weather powers have been mistaken for ninjutsu. She hung out with Shinobu a lot in Wano. She was being undercover as a kunoichi. And I saw that little thumbnail y'all had for y'all 83rd episode with Nami with the sword, and that made me think about that. I think maybe she should have maybe learned a little real ninjutsu. Maybe not become like this master ninja, but learn a little ninjutsu, mix it in with her weather abilities. I thought that would have been a good power up for her.
I'll say this: I think there's still an avenue for us to see that. You know what I mean? Like, I know we didn't see it on Wano specifically, but I could see her doing some like after image, like in conjunction with her climate attack, or something, just something light. Like, as long as Nami's not overpowered or not whipping out stuff that makes it like Hawks, but like Shinobu had very minor impact as a fighter. So like, if Nami could just incorporate a little bit of that would be cool. I mean, I just like Nami being weak personally. I like that more generally.
I don't think we're gonna ever see like a full-on Naruto character on here, but
no.
Yeah.
You set yourself up, but I'm gonna chill out.
Oh, what? I ain't scared of Chestnut, bro.
I'm gonna chill out, bro.
I ain't scared of Chestnut, bro.
No, I was gonna say something else. I'm gonna chill out.
I was gonna mention, dude, but wouldn't you think the ninjutsu stuff would have fit Robin more, who's more like the secret agent of the crew, besides like Sanji?
Yeah, but to his point, Robin wasn't hanging with Shinobu.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
she wouldn't have an avenue to like gain that. Plus, we saw actual power up for Robin.
I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. She needed to learn it based off of how overwhelmed the forces were in Wano.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care, regardless of like how it would have been for the future. They were just so overwhelmed and so overpowered that they all needed to gain some different abilities in order to beat the Beast Pirates. And the fact that they didn't and no one died, it just says about Wano.
Well, 2 people died.
That wasn't really a part of anything.
I'm just saying, you can't say no one died.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, Nami could have potentially had a actual one-on-one fight with what's her name? Ōtsi. But they had Big Mom.
No, she couldn't.
Nah, she would have got
No,
chipped.
she couldn't.
Nami would have.
Even with some ninjutsu, I don't know that she was gonna be out here doing anything
absolutely not.
crazy.
I'm talking about like if she would have learned. I mean, I think it would have been more believable if she would have learned ninjutsu. Is what I'm saying.
It would have been sort of believable, but like at the end of the day, Ulti headbutted Luffy. She banged out with Yamato, and then it took the saber from like Big Mom combining all 3 homies in order to puncture her and knock her out for good.
And remember,
Nami don't got
wasn't
anything.
Larry, she wasn't even knocked out for good after that.
Yeah.
She got up, bro.
Yeah, like there's no way Nami would have beat her, bro.
And I think Nami took like 1 headbutt from Ulti, and it was like
off screen.
In the anime, she got hit more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
either way, she was like done. She was like, I can't take this.
I think if she would have learned ninjutsu plus got Zeus, it would have been better for me personally.
Bro,
unless she's doing that paralysis jutsu we was talking about Raizo?
Ulti still didn't go down, bro. After all 3 homies like combined.
Okay. No, I feel you.
Like, Nami doesn't have anything in her arsenal that could do such damage.
Right now, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right now, for sure.
Even with the ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Again, the only thing if she learned the paralysis jutsu and just did it,
cool, bro.
And then like ulti was stuck and Zeus just kept teeing off on her, maybe. But
For,
like even
30
then,
minutes straight. Just
yeah, like even then.
I've seen Usopp get hit with a 4-ton bat in his face continuously, and he was still good. I think
Usopp wasn't good.
I think Ulti's gonna be good, bro.
Oh, yo, living and being good is two different. Usopp was messed up. He just was continue, kind of.
His face like
If
bro.
it's a ninjutsu plus Zeus, I think she would have.
Nah.
It would have been a still
She
hard
wasn't
fight where
beating.
she would have barely won.
Nah.
But I think
No, because you already gotta count durability wise.
Yeah, we already know the results, bro. But Terrence, man, thank you so much for the call, brother.
you're welcome, man.
Hope you have a rest of a good night, man.
Kizaru coming, man. Have a good night, bro.
Yeah, have a good day.
Marv, no more calls. We gotta do super chats.
We got a $2 super chat from Ryunosuke, and I feel bad even reading this one, man. It says, "Yo, I had the call and hung up. No."
Oh, so he was the one that the
So
Yo,
his
man.
question was, do you think Luffy's gonna die at the end of the series?
Luffy specifically?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I would say no as well.
I don't think Oda's gonna end the series on a downer like that.
Yeah.
But we got an interesting question from 𝘍𝑆y. It's similar. $2. It says Oda stated that one crew member will die. Who y'all think?
I think it was the Mary. He said that a long time ago.
Yeah. The only other current crew member I think could be Usopp, and we talked about this on stream before.
Yeah.
Because Usopp's the only one who could probably actually fulfill his dream through death.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all agree with that, but that's my thought on it. We got another $5 from Toby. It says, "Sup, y'all. Had a bad practice, but y'all made my day so much better. Much love. Hashtag law ain't real." Toby, man, you know what I mean? Keep your head up, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it soccer, football? I don't remember what it is.
No, it's
Basketball?
track.
Track?
Hey, I used to run. Well, we both
know
used to run
anything.
track.
I
Me
don't
and
know.
Larry used to run track back in high school.
I did not run track in high school, but I know you got speed.
He was
bro.
holding women down because he wanted them to be weak.
That's not how I meant that.
Yeah, I gotta call Shay up and ask her how she's doing. I gotta be like, how you doing, yo? What's my brother doing to you, bro?
That's not how I meant that, bro. It's all Nami's character specifically,
The way
bro.
you worded it.
Yo, bro, I like her weak.
Yeah, that was just weird to say.
I guess I'm cursing. All right. Anyway, guys, if you haven't liked the video, please like the video for us. If you haven't joined our Discord, the Discord link is in the chat. What else? We have DDT, Davies Dark Tournament, hosted by Sebastian on this Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Also, on Thursday or Friday, whenever the chapter comes out for One Piece from TCB Scans, me and Chestnut are going to review it together, so stay on the lookout for that. And other than that, thank you so much for being here with us. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the super chats and the calls and the memberships that were given. Much love to all of you. I hope you have a safe week. I hope you have a good night, and I hope continued health comes your way. So my name is Larry.
Lawrence.
Seb.
And this is That One Piece Talk. Jana!